Hello there and welcome to the best LEGO Star Wars set of 2023 voted by you. Now you saw the title and thumbnail, of course you know what this video is about, but in the title it only says over 1,000 votes. I can in fact confirm, drum roll please, there is 1,217 votes as of recording this video 12 o'clock on Thursday, just after the final poll has ended. Well, technically it hasn't ended. The polls are all still up there for you to vote if you want to share your opinion, so feel free to do that. As I said, there is over 1,000 of you that voted already, and this is day 1 of 3, where today it's your vote for the best LEGO Star Wars set. Tomorrow it's my top 10 builds of LEGO 2023. That is in general. I don't have to have bought the set, because then the third day I'm going over my favourite builds from this year, and that can be LEGO sets I've built, that can be MOCs I've made, perhaps other people's MOCs might make it to the video. And it's going to be a really interesting video just to see out of my collection which sets I've preferred and which has been the funnest to build. So I might break that up into a few categories. You're going to have to subscribe and stay tuned for that video unless you're watching this video a few days late. But I've got all the screenshots here for this sort of contest I've run the last 2 months. If you haven't seen me mention it in any video, what I've done is sort of categorized all the LEGO sets based on sort of size to start off with, and even towards the end I categorized them based on the price of the set and tried to group them a bit similarly. So we got a few different sets in the final poll, and I'm sure you'll sort of catch on as I go through them. So let's start with the first poll, which, as I said, was published near enough 2 months ago. I think even slightly over 2 months ago. And it saw the TIE Bomber, the Pirate Snub Fighter, and the Spider Tank go head to head. Of course, all very great builds, nothing too special about them. 2 from Mando and 1 from sort of that Return of the Jedi era of the Imperials. So they're quite close in where they pop up in canon. And the TIE Bomber took it pretty much by storm, 78%. We got 120 votes for this, so thank you to everyone for voting. I think we got similar on the recent one that has just ended, and the Spider Tank come in second place, which for the first round did secure it a place in the quarter final. Sadly, we had to say goodbye to the Pirate Snub Fighter, but with only 1 named character in it, and both of which didn't get much screen time. I mean, the Pirate Snub Fighter itself, you don't really get a clear image of in The Mandalorian, so it would be a cool set to pick up. It's reduced to, I think, £23 on Lego.com at the minute, but I'm sure many people will be waiting for that half-price sticker towards the end of its shelf life. But on to poll number 2. So we've seen the first 2 go through, and the next 2 sets going through are the Coruscant Guard gunship and the Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor ship. Again, the Coruscant Guard gunship did take most of the votes, 61%, compared to the Fang Fighters 29% and Yavin's Rebel Base 10%. So Yavin doesn't make it through to the next round. Round number 3, I put together Captain Rex's helmet, Clone Commander Cody's helmet, and also Princess Leia's helmet. So we saw all the helmets go head to head. In fact, I was lucky enough to get the Captain Rex helmet for Christmas, so I've built it. I'll be reviewing this. This will probably be the first review I put out, so stay tuned. January 2nd, you'll see this alongside every other LEGO set I got for Christmas reviewed, pretty much just waiting for my LEGO order to arrive. So there's some really cool sets and there's some really cool comparisons to make. So throughout January, I'll probably also post a few comparisons, especially with the new LEGO sets that I'm looking to purchase. But let's waste no time. We all know Captain Rex's helmet did win, 61%. Pretty much the same as the Coruscant Guard gunship. These Phase 2 Clone Wars era sets are definitely a fan favourite when it comes to LEGO. And we're sort of seeing that shift from mostly original trilogy to a lot of Clone Wars based sets. And honestly, I am all here for it. So I do hope this continues into the future. Perhaps eventually we'll get some sequel sets back, much like the prequel era sets that we seem to be getting as of recent. What with Phantom Menace's 25 years as well next year, we're definitely going to see a load more. But second place, Clone Commander Cody, 25%, and I'm afraid the Boushh helmet, or Princess Leia's 13%, doesn't make it through to the next round. Now, the fourth battle was very interesting. It was more of the cheaper sets, so we had the mechs, Boba, Vader, the Trooper. They were all similar enough to include under the one banner, perhaps even the free pack, and we had that against Boba Fett's Fire Spray and the Mandalorian's N1. Now, of course, you could probably predict that the mechs did go through with 58%. Again, the majority of votes. People are definitely preferring certain sets to the others, but Boba's and Mando's was very, very close, as there was only 4% in it, which between 74 votes is only 3 people making the difference. So your vote really did count and really mattered a lot based on which set you were voting for. But the winner out of the two and going through to the next round is Mando's N1 Microfighter. Though with these sets, when there is a clear winner, I think it's safe to say that the smaller sets with the 20 odd % might not be making it through to the final. Now, the interesting one was the expensive sets. We've seen the cheap sets and how they fared up, but for the 5th round I paired up the X-Wing Starfighter giant UCS set from May, the Venator class Republic Attack Cruiser, again a giant set, UCS from later on, I think the September UCS set, and we also had Chewbacca, which come around that May-June time and is a pricey model, nearly £200. So the winner of this round is again the Clone Wars sets. The Clone Wars sets are coming through strong, 82% for the Venator, and second place there's only 18%, and in fact between these two sets 2%, 61 votes, 1 vote made the difference. If you thought your vote didn't matter, it really does for this poll, and the winner by 1 vote is the UCS X-Wing. So I'm afraid Chewbacca doesn't go through to the next round, but it was very close. In fact, when I revisited this to add up all the votes, Chewbacca was in the lead, but as I say at the top, it's only 3 days that is counted towards the next round. Otherwise, I'd constantly be changing up this table, at least for the 2nd and 3rd places. So round 6 saw the Ahsoka sets go head to head. We had the T6, we had the E-Wing versus Shin Haiti Starfighter, and then the Ghost and Phantom 2. And the Ghost is an amazing ship. There are a few flaws, very few, with the E-Wing and Shin Haitis, but the T6 shuttle didn't take the lead. So the Ghost goes through to the next round with 70% of the votes. And I'm a bit surprised with the 2nd place, as Shin Haitis versus the E-Wing only got 7%. Which I definitely thought that'd be going ahead of the T6, because the bottom of the T6 is just plain grey, but 22% of you out of the 67 votes thought that that was the better, and this is your video, so the T6 also goes through to the next round. Now, for the penultimate battle of the sets, we had to put the dioramas and MIDI scale sets. They're all sort of the same 60 to 90 price bracket. So we have the Emperor's Throne Room, we have the Endor Speeder Chase diorama, and the Executor Super Star Destroyer. Honestly, that Super Star Destroyer is definitely gone up in my book since building my custom MIDI scaled Venator, which is over on Rubricable. I won't take too much time talking about that, but the winner of this bracket is the Emperor's Throne Room diorama with half the votes. I'd like to point out there were 66 votes for this poll, so whenever that number pops up, it is nice to see. The Endor Speeder Chase diorama doesn't make it through to the next round, so the Superstar Destroyer with 32% also goes through in 2nd place. Now, we're at the final round, and I put the sort of battle pack, and Yoda Starfighter sort of makes it in there. It's not too much more money than the battle packs, and I couldn't have included the mechs because then Yoda Starfighter would have been with the microfighters, which completely unfair. But out of the 2 battle packs, Yoda Starfighter didn't make it through this round, which a remake of an older set. A lot of people that would have wanted it have probably picked up the last one about 10 years ago. So the 2 battle packs went through, but which one was the most popular? Well, we got the 501st, the 332nd, the 501st battle pack we got a few years ago was really popular, so it only makes sense that 73% of you, which is more or less 73 votes, voted for the Clone Wars 501st battle pack over the 332nd. It did get 16%, which was 5% more than Yoda Starfighter, but not enough to go through in 1st place. So we move on to the quarterfinals, and there are sort of 2 groups of quarterfinals. We have the 1st place and 2nd place, and they are both then divided into cheap and expensive. So looking at the First place for the cheaper sets, we have Boba / Vader and Troopers mech, the Spider Tank, the Throne Room diorama, and the 501st Battle Pack. And only one of them went through this time. We've sort of divided out the weaker ones, and the one that goes through with 63% was the Throne Room diorama. And honestly, the 501st Battle Pack and the mech and even the Spider Tank, they were quite close, 9% in it, but everyone preferred the Throne Room diorama. And just looking at it, the mechs are cool to play with. The Spider Tank is not too great of a set. And the 501st Battle Pack, again, it's a good set, but it doesn't really stand up to the display ability, even the playability. The scenes you can reenact on this diorama are great, and I think that was a very interesting poll, especially with the different types of sets that were in it. Now, round 2 saw the expensive sets, and I mixed it up a little bit. We saw the UCS Venator, Cody's helmet, Ahsoka's T6, and Coruscant Guard gunship. So I think we've got, for each poll, 2 were first place and 2 were second place, and I've made sure that the first place and second places from the same polls do not interact. So out of the expensive sets, I do think there's only one winner here. The Coruscant Guard gunship would have gone through for me just because it's at the cheaper price bracket, but 56% of you voted for the UCS Venator, and once again that will be the set going through to the final. So far we've got the UCS Venator and we have the Throne Room diorama, both very good display sets, and I think that's what makes them win. It's not necessarily sets that people have got their hands on, it's ones that look the best when displayed on a shelf. And that does sort of continue for this next one. We have Mando's M1, the TIE Bomber, the Superstar Destroyer, and the 332nd Battle Pack, which are a great range of sets. They are the cheaper scale of sets, and honestly, it wasn't really close in any of these four. At 4th place, you clearly wanted Mando's N1 Starfighter, and 3rd place, the 332nd Battle Pack. So the winner of this poll is the TIE Bomber, which I guess isn't as much of a display piece as the Superstar Destroyer, but definitely by the size of it. In fact, I have it right here. You can see it's definitely a sizable set. I mean, I didn't realize how big it was compared to my head. It's just wider, and I've even got it rolled round backwards. So there you can see the front. It looks massive. Honestly, compared to my TIE Fighter and my TIE Advance, this is going to go so well. And when I turn this into Vader's TIE Fighter, I might have to turn it back, dependent how good Vader's looks. If it does look really good, I'm definitely going to pick up another one on a sale, because this is definitely worth the higher price tag. But of course, going through to the quarterfinal with the UCS Venator, and I can't even remember what the first one was now, but the final quarter-final poll saw Chewbacca face against the Rex helmet, Ghost Phantom 2, and the Fang versus TIE. Honestly, I think we all know from the get-go, Chewbacca doesn't stand a chance. It was a bit different next to the UCS X-Wing. It definitely held up its own, but it did come 4th place here. Only 4% of votes, which is about a handful of votes. It didn't do too bad, but most people were voting for the other models. In 3rd place, it's very, very close. So I won't reveal 2nd place. We'll announce the winner first. But in 3rd place is the Captain Rex helmet, which is a bit shocking for me. I thought the Fang and TIE was definitely going to be 3rd, and it'd be close between 1st and 2nd. But no, the winner by over double what 2nd place earned, with 54% of the votes. The vocal majority is the Ghost and Phantom 2, which I think is a great set to win. Again, it's one of the more pricier sets, but that enables our final to be some of the more affordable sets in the Throne Room diorama. The TIE Bomber, I guess the TIE Bomber is the most affordable of the lot, and then we've got the Ghost and Phantom 2 and the UCS Venator. Now you can see on your screen the 4 of them. I will have blurred the results like the other polls, and in 4th place we have the TIE Bomber, which is the cheapest of the sets. It'll be interesting to see if price does have any correlation here. In 3rd place we do have the Ghost and Phantom 2 by 3%, as you can see, and it's an even smaller gap between the next one. 2% more votes, so the winner with a majority of votes and taking the trophy for the best LEGO Star Wars set of 2023 is the UCS Venator, which, props to it, it definitely did surprise a lot of people. I didn't see anyone expecting anything like this. In fact, we've got a UCS Star Destroyer in the past, and this just doesn't compare to it. It is so good, the UCS Venator. If I had the money, I'd definitely be picking it up, and I'd have absolutely nowhere to store it. But that is your fan-voted LEGO Star Wars set number 1 for 2023. Definitely stay tuned for next year. We'll be doing the same thing next year, perhaps in an even bigger scale, where we'll have a few more head-to-heads rather than grouping them up as I did. I've just got to start it a bit earlier, so I'll definitely get on to planning that so I know when to start it. And thank you to all 1,000 and more of yous who participated in this. I understand that there were quite a few polls, so a lot of people were voting again, but thank you to everyone who voted in the community tab. Don't forget to go over and check my other 5 community posts that will be coming out across the next few days for the LEGO Star Wars Advent, and definitely check the video out if you want to see my custom 2024 LEGO Star Wars Advent mock, because that was a load of fun and I've fully built 24 days. So stay tuned. Thank you for all the support in 2023, and I hope you have a great new year. And don't forget to like the video if you did like the video, subscribe for more awesome content in 2024, and as always, may the bricks be with you.